What's going on, Falcon fans? So there you have it. The Atlanta Falcons schedule is out. It's official, and we know who our opponents are. Well, we already knew who our opponents were, but now we know when we get to go head to head with all these guys this year. And guys, I can tell you what, I wanted to kind of come out with an easy schedule, but at the same time, whoever is on these schedules, NFL, any given Sunday, so it really don't matter. We got to come out. We got to be really productive this year and see can we be able to put something together and play really well to start the season. I can't wait to see how this thing shakes out. But we're definitely going to get in today. We're going to talk about our week one opponent, who we start off with. We're going to talk about the primetime games. We're going to talk about international game that's in Germany, and then we're also going to talk about hate week. We're going to find out when we play those dirty New Orleans Inks as well. Those are some of the things I want to talk about today. I want to get you guys' opinion on what you guys think about this week and how this game is going to affect the route. And then last but not least, I will try to give a win-loss prediction here with Atlanta Falcons, because for me, you know, I kind of look at the schedule with Falcons colored glasses on. So I'm biased. I be thinking the Falcons can win all these games. So I'm trying to be, realistic and look at the opponents and try to kind of figure out the Atlanta Falcons what their true record going to be, and that's what we're going to do today. So, guys, with that being said, if you're not already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Please hit that notification bell so you know I drop another video. Please hit the like button so I know you guys out here to talk about. Then please share my video throughout the YouTube universe so more people can come here and talk about. That's right, these Atlanta Falcons. So, let me see, can I share my screen so we can pull up the schedule? We can look at it together here. So I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm going to call it out anyway. It's kind of small, but that's okay. I'm going to call out the games anyway. So first of all, we're going to go over our week one matchup. Week one matchup, of course, is against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I like this matchup for one reason, because I do believe that these are the two teams that's going to be competing for the number one spot in the NFC South. We the two teams that actually went down to the last week of the season to determine who's actually going to win the NFC South. We all do recall that. Fortunately, the Bucks did their job and the Falcons did not, right? So that pretty much that how it ended up. And the Atlanta Falcons unfortunately did not make the playoffs. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have made won the NFC South 4 years in a row. We know once you win the division, you're in the playoffs and you get to host that first playoff home playoff game. So, winning division it should be what every team in this league try to do. But that's your first key to get into the playoffs, is winning the division. So going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, is getting us off on the road. We can make our mark on the division right away, going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I like where we're standing here to hit the ground running. It's exciting to see what the Atlanta Falcons are going to do. So the opponents that we got, of course, Baker Mayfield coming right out the gate. Let's see, can we kind of stifle him right off the bat. We know they brought some weapons in on offense and defense. So I think this is going to be a good test for the Atlanta Falcons to start the season. And it's a big game because it's a division game. So when we play divisional opponents, we always got to try to come in and deliver what we need to do. So I like what I see from the first game of the year, the matchup with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, guys, let me know what you think about that. And that's how we're rolling start the season. Now, you look at the preseason games. We do have a preseason game, two home preseason games against the Detroit Lions and the Tennessee Titans. And then on August the 22nd, we actually go to Dallas to play a preseason game. That's the third preseason game on the 22nd. And we already know Raheem Morris' philosophy about preseason games, so it's probably gonna suck. You know, not watching some of the guys that we want to see on the field. Hopefully, they do some joint practices so they can kind of get some kind of look at their players and try to get an idea how these guys going to look during the preseason. But what's going on 3:30? But the Atlanta Falcons don't do he don't want to play guys in the preseason game. I think they should get some burn in the preseason game so they won't be so rusty, from live action, especially going to our first game being a divisional game, man. So, but looking at these three opponents: Detroit Lions, Tennessee Titans. If anything, we can get Tennessee to be have a joint practice and stay so close to us. That should not seem like they could come up the flowery branch, during the week and actually have a good joint practice. So hopefully, if we don't do play any guys in the preseason, we have a couple of joint practices that would, to me, would benefit if they're not going to play guys in the preseason. But that first game of the season, guys, that's to set the tone for the division. Then the Falcons can go 1-0, in the division, especially over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's what we need to do. So, 330 said, "Will all backup quarterbacks play preseason?" Oh, great question. Because who is one of our backups? One of our backups is Kirk Cousins. So that's a great. You know what? See, we finna start some controversy already. Because that'd be a good question. Will Kirk Cousins play in the preseason game if he don't play any of the starters? That's a great question, 330. That's a great question. All right, so guys, that's all. Like I said, the first matchup week 1 is gonna be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think that's the way to set the season off, set the tone at home. We're at home as well, so we got to be able to use our home field advantage and get those big wins. So that's what I like to see from the Atlanta Falcons coming in, trying to get that first game at home. All right. Next, we're going to talk about the primetime games. So I kind of believe when we talk about the primetime games, I think it's more about the Michael Penix effect. They think the young quarterback is going to be really explosive this year because the Atlanta Falcons have they have a Sunday night football game in week 2, right? So we come right from playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers week 1, then we go up to Minnesota in week 2 and play a Sunday night football game. So that's one on primetime game we have. Then we have a primetime game on a Monday night, week 6. And we're coming off a bye as well, which is really awesome. So our bye is early this year, so that's going to be kind of interesting for the Falcons because the bye is in week 5, which means that the Atlanta Falcons are going to play a lot of games after coming off that bye. So, but coming off the bye, we play the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills coming to town. Josh Allen and the crew coming to town on October the 13th to play the Atlanta Falcons, in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That's a Monday night football game. And then right after that, the following week, the Atlanta Falcons will play at San Francisco on a Sunday night football game. So right when you're looking at the three primetime games, right, start the season, kind of like we did last year. I mean, we had a Monday night game, we had a Sunday night game. Well, this year we got a Sunday night game, Monday night game, Sunday night game, right? That Sunday night game, week 2, is in Minnesota. Come back and play on October 13th, a Monday night game. And then right after next week, we play a Sunday night game in San Francisco, right? So, and then our last primetime game will be on. Actually, we got 2 more because we actually on primetime 5 games this year. Believe it or not, yes, the Atlanta Falcons is on primetime 5 times this year. They play a Thursday night game. Only game in town, and we go back to Tampa this time, 8:15 on Thursday night, December 11th, and we play a Thursday night game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in their place. So, and then ended off our primetime schedule will be week 17 on a Monday night against the Los Angeles Rams. Raheem Morris, Zach Robinson, and crew goes back to Los Angeles and play the Los Angeles Rams. So, like I said, when we look at the primetime games for our Atlanta Falcons, somebody like what they've seen out the Falcons the last couple of years. And I think, like I said, looking at what Michael Penix was able to put on display, those 3 games that he posted, him and Bijan Robinson, and that young core with big three that I like to say with Drake, Bijan, and Mike. I like it, and obviously the rest of the league likes it well. Putting Atlanta Falcons on the prime time 5 games is huge, right? Just hope we don't go out and embarrass ourselves. But looking at those 5 primetime games, starting on week 2, on a Sunday night, so that's big for us. So I can't wait to see um, all these primetime games, 5 primetime games, which is really big for Atlanta Falcons. So let's hope they can deliver the goods. You know, I like to say, the old saying is not new or anything like that. Big time players make big time plays in big time games, right? Atlanta Falcons got 5 primetime games, so hopefully our big time players come out and play big in those big time games when we're the only game on TV at the time. So that's what we want to see. We want to see our Atlanta Falcons represent primetime. I think last year primetime games they played well in all of them, right? They didn't get blown out. They didn't embarrass them. They didn't win all of them. But they played well in all the primetime games last year. So hopefully, um, uh, that Vegas win, that Kirk Cousins kind of stunk it up a little bit in that game, but we did come away with the win in that game. So hopefully, being on primetime, the bright lights bring out the best in our guys, especially our stars, and hope they shine bright. So I love looking at the primetime games for our Atlanta Falcons. 5 this year, 5 primetime games, which is huge. All right, let's look at the international game. So, the international game this year, it's going to be against the Indianapolis Colts, and that's week. I'm gonna find it here. Week 10 in Germany. So it's going to be a 9:30 a.m. game. So everybody needs to get up and you know get ready to go watch the Atlanta Falcons play some international football game. We have a big, following in Germany. So, it says at Indianapolis, but I feel like it's more of a, like now they have a lot of fans over there, but Atlanta Falcons have a big following in Germany. So, you know, I know they like playing over there. And so that's cool. We're going to play the international game this year in Germany. And that's one thing that you don't like about international games because they don't have a bye now coming off the international game. So remember the bye is in week 5. That's huge. Like we talking about looking at the schedule, you kind of look at with the bye. You kind of want to buy in the middle of the season, but having a bye in week 5, man, Atlanta Falcons have to play what 12 games after that, 12 straight games after the bye. So that's going to be huge for those guys. But international game against the Indianapolis Colts. It's going to be exciting. Last time we played an international game, I think we didn't think it was against the Jaguars. I'm not mistaken. I think that's the last time we played an international game, and we didn't play well. Or we played last year. I can't remember. If you guys can remind me, I'm getting my years mixed up. I think we might have played overseas last year. I can't remember. I'm not going to even lie to you guys, but Indianapolis Colts, November 9th, right? 9:30 a.m. So be ready to play in those games. All right. All right. So let's just talk about the rest of the schedule. We talked about the international games. We talked about a week 1 opponent. We talked about the primetime games. So let's talk about the remaining schedule. So looking at the schedule, like I said, we play the Bucks week 1. Week 2, we played Minnesota. We talked about that. Week 3, we played at Carolina. So that we're going to play 2 of our division opponents in the first 3 weeks of the season. Then Jaden Daniels comes to town. We need to get some payback on Jaden Daniels. He comes to town on September the 28th, um, bringing his Debo Samuels coming with Terry McLaurin. Right, that's going to be a big, huge game for us. See, can we shut down Jaden Daniels on that Sunday? Then we go into our bye. Talked about that. Week 5 is our bye. Then we have our 2 back-to-back primetime games on Monday and Sunday against the Buffalo Bills in San Francisco. All right. On week 8, we play the Miami Dolphins, right? They come to town on October 26th. Week 9, we play the New England Patriots in New England, right? Like I said, week 10, we're going to Germany. That's a 9:30 a.m. game, international game. Week 11, we play the Carolina Panthers again. They come to Atlanta on November 16th. And right after that, that's when we play our first game against the Dirty Inks, right? And that's going to be November 23rd, right? So that's the Thanksgiving week. I'm not sure what day Thanksgiving falls on this year. Let's see right quick so we can look at that. While we're talking about the New Orleans Inks. So Thanksgiving falls on the 27th. So yeah, that's Thanksgiving week. So we play New Orleans that Sunday before Thanksgiving. Um, and it's actually a 4:25 game. So we play that late game that day. Um, the 4:25 spot playing the New Orleans Saints. I like that. I like that time frame because it's not a whole lot of games on. So they putting us. We might have that primetime game that day playing the New Orleans. Right after that, we go to the Meadowlands to New York, play the New York Jets, Justin Fields. We need to get some get back in week 14 against the Seattle Seahawks because they made us look bad last year. So we need to see can we get some get back against those guys. Then our fourth primetime game Thursday night against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa. That's going to be a huge game for us. Hopefully, we already have a stranglehold on the division by that time. What's going on, Millie Mills? And then Sunday, December the 21st, the week before Christmas, we play the Arizona Cardinals. That's the game that I'm supposed to be attending. I spend a one away game every year with my homies. We always go to a Falcon game. This year we talking about going to Arizona. Didn't know it was gonna be that late, but we're gonna see can we still make that game in Arizona on December 21st. Then we have that prime time game, our last prime time game of the season, and that's going to be against the Los Angeles Rams on Monday Night Football on week 17 at December the 29th. And then week 18, we play the Dirty Inks again at home. And that's right now it's a flex game. It's going to either be on Saturday or Sunday, and because it could have meaning, right? It's a division game. Hopefully it does not have meaning. Hopefully we already got the division locked up right in, and we're just sitting and ready to get ready for the playoffs. So hopefully that game is not like last year, and we're trying to get into the playoffs, happen to win a game, and hopefully we need help and things like that. So that's when we play the Dirty Apes. Speaking of that, when we talk about the Aints, right? I like to highlight the hate weeks, right? Because those to me, when I like to highlight those weeks because we just don't like them, they don't like us, and so the first time we play those guys is November 23rd. Like I said, that's the week before Thanksgiving, and man, I just hope they have those young quarterbacks in there, and our guys can hunt. I hope they can get out there. The quarterback. I can't wait. I can't wait for that game. We owe them anyway. Last year, Younghoe Koo missed 3 field goals in New Orleans. We should have won that game. They hit us with a couple of bombs to start the game off with Marquez Scantling, right? And then they didn't do nothing after that. But we still couldn't win it because our offense just was anemic by then. And then the last game of the season, we played the Aints, right? So, I can tell you this much as a Falcon fan. I want to make to the playoff. I want to do all good things, but my biggest thing is we need to beat the Saints twice. All right, let's do that. So let's get ready for those games. let's be ready. Those young guys coming in, they need to know what it means to play the Aints. So if they got rivalries in college, it's the same. It's the same kind of trash. So we need to be ready to play those games. So so I highlight those weeks: week 12, week 18 for me. It's some of my favorite weeks to watch the Atlanta Falcons play because they play in New Orleans. So I can't wait for those two games. But looking at this schedule, I mean, I got to say that um, it's intriguing. It really is intriguing looking at the schedule. I think the most exciting thing is the fact that the NFL, what they see in the Atlanta Falcons by giving them 5 primetime games. Now I don't know. I have to look around the league and see who has the most primetime games, but 5 primetime game is big. I mean, I don't care what nobody says. That's a big deal to have 5 primetime games, and I keep thinking it's a because of our young offensive talent we got with Bijan Robinson, Michael Penix Jr., Drake London. Those guys know how to put on a show, man. I believe they feel the same we feel. We got a young quarterback that's going to air that thing out. I just think he's going to do that. I mean, those 3 games he had the most 20+ yard completions, you know, in that stretch. So he's going to air it out. That's what he does well. And let's see, man. I can't wait. I love the primetime games. That's to me that's exciting. Let's look at some of these comments real quick. Emil say, I don't give a fuck who or when we play. Lace them up. Let's go. That's right, man. Hey, it don't matter anyway. Like I said, any given Sunday, it don't matter who you play in this league. You got to be ready to go, man. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why it's hard for me to pick win losses, man, because I think any team can beat you if you ain't on your A game. We got 2 weeks to prepare for Josh Allen's. We should play them fairly well coming out of the bye. Exactly. And I love that, right? Because like you mentioned that, we play the Commanders, right? Then we get a bye. So to your point, we got 2 weeks. And honestly, you know, that's an early buy. So our guys still gonna be fresh. They're not ready. I mean, they don't need a break that quick, coming into the season. So they should be fresh and ready to go. And we got 2 weeks to prepare. I agree with you 100%. We need to be ready for that big dude coming down. All right. And we need to put the bean on him. Right. I can tell you this much, you know, being at the games when Buffalo Bill fans come, they come deep. So it's gonna be a good game, rowdy crowd. It's gonna be on Monday night, so I can't wait for that game. Um, I love going to those games where the fan base for other teams be deep as well, because we can shut them up. So that's what I like to see. So great point about you know um, preparing for Josh Allen. That's gonna be exciting. I can't wait to see that. Um, yeah, man, that's gonna be cool. That's gonna be cool stuff right there. All right, guys. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys my idea what I think for the win-loss record. Um, and this is gonna be interesting, right? Because um, like I said, I wear Falcon color glasses. I just do. I can't help myself. And I'm like, well, we can beat that team. We can beat that team. We can beat that team. And then I'd be like, okay, I didn't pick a loss on this schedule when I be looking at all the teams we play. So the way I'm gonna do it this year, right? And I have to do it um, the way to kind of take the bias out of it. So I'm gonna look at the quarterbacks we gotta play, right? And because I think it's a quarterback driven lead, I think we still got a young defense. So I'm gonna look at it that way. And I'm gonna kind of look at the matchups and thinking how the Falcons can match up against some of these teams. And I'm gonna try to be fair when I'm doing this. So week 1, right? Week 1, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm gonna get the Falcons a W there. We're playing at home. I think it's 2 evenly matched teams. I don't think I think the Falcons are a little bit better as well. So I think because we're playing at home, I think it's a big game for us. Um, we got from now to September 7th to prepare for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? Um, I think Baker Mayfield coming in with a new coordinator right off the bat. Um, I think we can take that game. I really do. I really think we can take the week one against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I feel like we gotta take week one against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I'm giving us a W for that first game of the season. Right? It's a home game, it's a division opponent. Baker Mayfield, breaking in a new offensive coordinator. Um, and we're gonna be ready and ready to go with our new look, the Atlanta Falcons. And I'm gonna be honest with you, they don't really got a whole lot of tape on Michael Penix and what he's gonna look like. So I think we got upper hand in week one. That's what I'm looking at. Week two on Sunday Night Football against the Minnesota Vikings. I'm also giving Atlanta Falcons a W, and it's because like I said, I'm going with quarterbacks. JJ McCarthy coming back, potentially, right? But their quarterback situation is the reason I'm giving the Atlanta Falcons a W here. Now their defense is gonna be come in. They played really well last year, and we got the guys we got to cover on the outside with Justin Jefferson and things like that. But I think their quarterback situation is going to be really important when I look at it. I think that's why I'm thinking we're gonna get that game. And see, here we go, guys. Like I'm already picking WWW, but I'm looking at the quarterback situation, and that's why I'm picking the Atlanta Falcons to beat Minnesota and on Sunday Night Football in week two. Week three, going up to Carolina. I just don't think the Carolina Panthers are ready yet. I still think they might be a season away. I love the moves they made in the offseason, though. Going to get more targets for Bryce Young, but I just think he still is not 100% where he needs to be as a player yet. And I believe we're going to get after Bryce Young. I think we're going to we owe them payback anyway from what they did us last game of the season. So it's another W, guys. I'm sorry. See, and this is why I didn't want to do this win loss, because it's like, okay, you're not being realistic. But I really believe, deep down, these are winnable games for the Falcons. So yes, I see the Falcons going 3-0 to start the season. Just like that. Millie Mill says, I think our defense wins us week 2 versus Minnesota. Yep. I don't know. You see, you think the defense, but man, you got to go back. Last year, it was 21-21 in that game. And then, we threw an interception. And then, it got a little bit out of hand, but we was neck and neck. And they couldn't stop our offense in that game either. Until, Kirk threw an interception. Things like kind of blew it out of the way. And we had some bad communication on the back end. And some passes, So, it's not like they dog walked us, right? I think it was a close game. And I just think the quarterback situation they got. I mean, Sam Darnold is not like no stud or nothing, but he's more, proven than a JJ McCarthy. I'm sorry, guy. He never played a snap in the NFL. He got hurt before the season started. So this is truly going to be his second game in his career if he starts week 1. So like, I'm just not going to give him that. And so the Falcons started out 3-0. Now coming to the Commanders, right, against Jaden Daniels. I want to say that the Atlanta's need to get some get back, right? We went up there, we went toe to toe with them. Michael Penix's second start in his career went toe to toe with them in their stadium. Going back and forth, and if we call a timeout, we probably win that game in regulation. I'm just gonna keep it real. We probably win that game in regulation. Um, and the fact that we only touched the ball one time in the third quarter, and we still had a chance to win. I just see. I'm getting us a W, guys. This where I'm at right now. And I'm not playing. This is with my head. It's not hard. I'm just thinking about the matchup, and I'm thinking about, yes, they brought in Deebo Samuels, and they're going to be a better team. Jaden Daniels is going to be a little better, but I just believe Atlanta Falcons going to be better too, and I believe that being at home this time instead of on the road, I think we can pull out a win. All right, we have a bye. So when I first did this, and I picked this game. I picked the loss for the Falcons against the Buffalo Bills. Who's playing the Buffalo Bills? You know, team that got a MVP on their team as a quarterback, coming into Atlanta. Yeah, I was going to give the Atlanta Falcons a loss, but being the fact that they're coming off a bye in Week 5, so just like Millie Mills just said, um, having 2 weeks to prepare for Josh Allen, I'm thinking that the Atlanta Falcons are going to be well prepared and ready to bring it to be able to do something. So man, can the Atlanta Falcons go 5-0 start the season? I don't know, man. I'm going to say yes, guys. So now I'm once I feel like got my Falcons goggles on and I'm looking. I'm like, okay, they can be these opponents, this can be one. But the fact that we're coming off for bye, and I think Atlanta Falcons got 2 weeks to prepare for Josh Allen. I'm going to give us the W. I'm just going to give us the W. So Atlanta Falcons looking real good right now, 5-0, 5-0 to start the season. Because they took care of their two division opponents. They took care of the rookie quarterback and JJ McCarthy in Minnesota, and they got their revenge on the Commanders from the game we had last season, in Week 17. So that's why I'm picking the Atlanta Falcons to go 5-0, right? Billy Bill said, "Stop being biased." I see. I get it, man. And that's why I want to do the win losses. No, I don't want to do win losses. So that's why. But I'm putting logic behind it though, right? I'm not just saying, yeah, we're gonna win, we're gonna win, we're gonna win. I'm putting logic behind all these wins, right? So that's why I feel comfortable saying that they're gonna be 5-0 to start the season. All right. Going to San Francisco. I think the Atlanta Falcons are gonna take a L there, right? Going all the way to the West Coast. Um, you know, for one thing, playing on Sunday night football game, you know, Kyle Shanahan, that defense is going to be better prepared. Um, Brock Purdy is going to be ready to go. I think Chris McCaffrey going to be back. Um, and Raheem Morris does have experience playing, against Kyle Shanahan because he was in that division for a couple of years. But I'm gonna get that the Falcons an L in that game. So the Falcons are 5-1 going into week 8 against the Miami Dolphins. Another home game against the Dolphins. Um, I'm giving it a W against the Dolphins, man. I just don't believe in Tua Tagovailoa. Um, we got to be ready on defense though, because they do have those speed demons on the outside. But this is so unrealistic, guys. It really is. Atlanta Falcons gonna let us down probably some of those first games of the season. So, but right now looking at the schedule, I'm just going what I believe, right? And this is not set in stone. I'm not betting. I can have my mind. I can change my mind. We got a long time before the season starts, so that's where I'm going. So right now through week 8, the Atlanta Falcons is 6-1 through week 8. Week 9 at New England. We're playing the quarterback. We're playing the second year quarterback. Um, yes, they got a new head coach, and Mike Vrabel he has played really well against the Atlanta Falcons. He know how to scheme up against us really well. Um, so I'll give the Atlanta Falcons the L against the New England Patriots, even though their young quarterback play they got to play really good defense against us to beat us. But um, I like the way Mike Vrabel coaches. So the Atlanta Falcons take a L against New England. Germany game against the Indianapolis Colts. I'm just being honest with you. I don't have any faith in Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson. So for me, that's going to be a W. Um, that's going to be a W, right? Um, Carolina Panthers at home in week 11. I just don't think we're going to split. I think we're going to sweep. I think we're going to sweep them this year. We might actually split. We might lose the first game, in week 3 against them. So either way, we won't lose at the home game week 11 against them. So if you want to give them an L at week 3, you know, I can see that because I think they're gonna be better this year. I really do believe the Panthers are gonna be better. But for week 11, that's definitely gonna be a win. I don't care what nobody say, and I'm just gonna be biased. I'm not picking the Atlanta Falcons to lose to the Aints either week. So week 12 and week 18, I'm picking W. So I'm not picking us to lose against those guys. It's just not happening. At New York, playing Justin Fields, um, the new coach, Mr. Glenn up there. I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna play. They have the talent, on offense. Their defense was, top 5 for like 4 years in a row. But Jeff Albrecht was up there, him and Robert Sala. So I don't know how these guys gonna fare. A lot of people got faith in Justin Fields. It's gonna be interesting to see how he develops this year and see if he can deliver some goods up there. But and it's a quarterback driven league, and like I don't trust Justin Fields like that. See, that's why I didn't want to do this because I looked at the schedule and I if I feel like the Falcons play to their potential, they ain't losing to the New York Jets, man. It's just not happening. Week 14 against the Seattle Seahawks, um, playing Sam Darnold. Not Geno Smith. We playing Sam Darnold now. Another W. Playing Tampa in week 15. It's an L. We're going to split with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Arizona. Uh, I want to say we at Arizona. I'm gonna pick a W in Monday Night Football against the Los Angeles Rams. I'm gonna pick a L. So right now, what I'll do, I give the Carolina Panthers a win in week 3. So I got the Atlanta Falcons losing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. I got Atlanta Falcons going 12-5 this year, right? So you guys can quote me that. I got the Atlanta Falcons going 12-5, right? Um, that's the way I look at it. Can they be a 12-5 team? It all depends on how the defense plays. It all depends on how much Michael Penix, grow throughout the season. But when you looking at these schedule guys, and this is me being, yes, I'm a Falcon fan, so I'm going to be biased when I look at these games and I look at the quarterback play. And a lot of people say the same thing about Atlanta. We have a young quarterback who's, unproven and has to prove a lot. So they can look at us, look at our schedule and feel like they're going to, pull off games because we have a young quarterback. But when I look at these games, like I said, we think about the quarterback play. You know, we only play this season 3 really veteran quarterbacks that you have to really be really scared about, and that's Josh Allen. Um, we play Matthew Stafford. We play Tua Tagovailoa, and we play Baker Mayfield. Those are only veteran quarterbacks that's on the Atlanta Falcon roster. Look at Minnesota; they're gonna have a young quarterback. Carolina Panthers, young quarterback. The Washington Commanders, yes, he was outstanding last year, but it's a young quarterback. Um, Brock Purdy Is he proven yet? Yeah, you can call him a vet, but so Brock Purdy maybe. The New England Patriots, young quarterback. The Indianapolis Colts, their quarterback situation is what it is, right? Um, the New York Jets, Justin Fields. Seattle Seahawks, Sam Darnold, he's not proven. Um, Arizona Cardinals, like okay, Kyler Murray is going to be a issue for us, and of course the New Orleans Saints, they're playing young quarterback. So when you looking at your opponents, and they got to be able to put points on the board, and if your defense, can be in the middle of the pack, that's going to give you a chance to win a lot of these games against a lot of these young quarterbacks. And the reason I feel more, confident about our young quarterback because of what he showed in his 3 games, right? Some of these quarterbacks we haven't even seen, like we haven't seen JJ McCarthy take a snap, right? Um, quarterback out of New England, he was really having growing pains, right? Um, Justin Fields, we haven't seen Justin Fields be consistent enough to feel real confident that he's going to be really good. Anthony Richardson, and Daniels, I'm not. I'm like I said, I don't have no faith in those guys. Sam Darnold, I mean, I still remember Sam Darnold said he was seeing ghosts, when he was dropping back to do pass rush, right? So Atlanta Falcons, in my opinion, you know, with a veteran defensive coach, him and Jeff Albrecht, they can scheme up to keep the Atlanta Falcons in these games from a defensive standpoint. And then the offense, utilizing our run game with Bijan and Tyler, and Michael Penix making timely throws. Atlanta Falcons have the ability to do just what I just said and go 12-5. So, you know, some of these teams you can look at. Some people look at the Commanders game and see the Commanders in the playoffs last year were really deep. They want to probably give the Commanders a win there, right? But I go back to the Week 17 game where we played them head to head, and we was right there with those guys. Um, May want to give Josh Allen, um, the leg up because he's the league MVP, which is it's going to be a tough game for Atlanta Falcons. But the fact that we're coming off a bye, I think that has to factor in to the Atlanta Falcons coming in and play that game, right? Um, and then the 2 games against the Buccaneers, I think they were toss-up games. Um, like I said, those guys, they know us well, we know them well, but I think the Atlanta Falcons got a better overall team. They got some good pieces now. I'm not taking away from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I talked about this last night. I do like what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers bring to the table. However, I think Atlanta Falcons got a better overall team. Stop sharing my screen, and then I'm gonna finish it up. So, guys, looking at the schedule this year, um, like I said, some of the things stand out. Looking at those first three preseason games, Raheem Morris already said, what he think about preseasons. He's not playing these guys. So hopefully we get some joint practices here so they can get some kind of rhythm going. Because if not, going into the week 1, you don't want to be trying to figure out things week 1 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So hopefully we utilize the preseason games to get our guys ready to go. And if not, hopefully, especially those joint practices that they do. The 5 primetime games, I think is huge. I think that's good, coverage for our Atlanta Falcons. To get those guy recognitions. We got some we do have some stars on this team. The more they're seen, the more they can shine in those big moments. The more spotlight you put on. So I like that the idea of getting Atlanta Falcons 5 primetime games, and obviously the NFL feels the same way about our young stars that we got. I'm surprised that Washington Commander game wasn't a primetime game because, that was must see TV when we played that game against those guys. Those 2 young quarterbacks were going back and forth. That was huge. Like I said, hate week. I hope we win both of those games. So that's what I like. But guys, what I do want to hear from you guys, let me know what you think about the Atlanta Falcons 2025 schedule. Right, I got Atlanta Falcons going 12-5. Yes, that's a little ambitious. If you want to put them at 11-6 or 10-7, I won't have a problem with that. I don't know which games you'll pick them to lose, and in those some of those weeks, but at the same time, the Atlanta Falcons have ability to win 12 games this year with this schedule, with the quarterback play that they're going to be facing. It's no Patrick Mahomes on here. Um, it's no Lamar Jackson, right? It's no world beater. It's no Joe Burrow. And they got a Matthew Stafford. They got a Josh Allen, right? They got those two. They got those two quarterbacks to deal with, right? But other than that, man, they don't have any world beaters. That what's going on, T. Terry? Other than Josh Allen and Matthew Stafford, they're not playing world beater quarterbacks this year. So, in my opinion, the Atlanta Falcons got a great opportunity. Now, they got some good teams like the San Francisco 49ers. That game's going to be tough. It's in San Francisco. Sunday night football game, going up against Kyle Shanahan. If anybody knows how to dial up a game, it's him. But like I said, Raheem Morris got a lot of experience playing those guys. So he played Kyle Shanahan pretty well. We look at his record with the Los Angeles Rams against the San Francisco 49ers. He plays them guys really well, right? But it's a quarterback-driven league. So when I look at the opponents, I just look at the quarterbacks and I figure out, how many points can they score. And right now, I'm not like so impressed that I believe that, yes, Miami Dolphins got some really good talent on there on the offensive side of the ball. And Tua is really accurate. But are you like scared of Tua? That's the question, right? I'm not worried about Sam Darnold with Seattle Seahawks. Kyler Murray is a little worrisome, right? Because he like to run around. But I like the speed that we added to the defense. So I'm not so much, worried about that either. But guys, that's my thoughts. 12-5. Didn't want to actually come out and give a early win-loss prediction so early, and maybe I'll come back and I'll do it again once we have an opportunity to look at the team during training camp. Hopefully they have more open practices this year, more than they had last year. T. Terry said, "Is Detroit the Atlanta Falcons' first game?" No, the first game of the season is Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Detroit is a preseason game, so it's a preseason game. We play Detroit Lions. So the 3 preseason games we play this year be Detroit Lions, Tennessee Titans, and Dallas Cowboys. Those are 3 preseason games. The first game of the season on September 7th will be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, and then we go right into that to a Sunday night football game at Minnesota. So, right, we starting off right out the bat, guys. We played 2 division opponents in the first 3 weeks. So both of those games are going to be huge for us. Our bye, I think one notable thing, the bye being week 5, is huge. It's big. And I mean big in a bad way, because once that bye is over, Atlanta Falcons play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 games in a row. So after the bye, the Atlanta Falcons play 13 games in a row. It's a lot of games. Right? So that's where that 12-5 could turn to a 10-7, right? Because when you playing 13 games in a row, somebody's going to get beat up. T. Terry said he got him going 11-6. Yeah, I'm not going to argue. Like I said, 10-7, 11-6. I'm not going to argue with you guys, because especially the bye being in week 5, 13 straight games, especially for some of those young guys. Some young guys ain't never played that much football in their life. And now they playing against grown ass men, so it's gonna be tough, right? So I just have to see. You know, I think it's good to have Kirk Cousins as our backup. You know, because having a good backup quarterback might be needed. And playing 13 straight games back to back. Dartmouth said, will you have traded Matt Ryan in 22 for a third rounder too? Um, probably not. Probably not. I'll be honest with you. Probably not. I mean, because I think they got D'Angelo Malone with that pick. So I mean, I don't even know if it was worth it. I mean, and then we went in quarterback purgatory for like, you know, since he left, right? So, um, no, I probably would have kept Matty Ice on the team. I mean, it did help them keep, clean up their books. So from a salary cap standpoint, I understood why they did it, but I mean, just let him finish out his contract, if anything, because I think, yes, he was in decline, but I still think he probably been the best quarterback that we would have had on this team if he still played than any other quarterback that we brought in. Just being honest. Just being honest. um, so you can go back to Matt Ryan's like worst seasons, and he was never as bad as Desmond Ritter. He was never as bad in a 5 game stretch like a Kirk Cousins was last year. He was never as bad as Marcus Mariota was. So no, I probably wouldn't have traded him, but it was more not trading him, for a pick. It was trading him to clean up the salary cap. So it was a transactional, decision that they made, trying to get rid of all the big contracts they had on the books. And some people say they might did Matt wrong, but I think they did it right. They tried to send him to somewhere that he wanted to go. A lot of people felt like the Indianapolis Colts at the time was a quarterback away. It just didn't pan out for him over there, you know. So that's just how it goes sometimes. I mean, that same offensive line that blocked for Taylor all those years, they couldn't block for Matty Ice that season, and it was bad. It was really bad. He was getting sacked left and right. So yes, I understand why they did it, but I probably would have just kept him on, especially what we know, quarterback play after he left. So 100%, I would not trade. I would have not traded him. Um, you said MPJ need to rest those legs and arms after every game. Hell yeah, man! 13 games, a lot of games. It's a lot of games. A lot of games, right? And that's why you look at a schedule like this. That's why you look at the backup quarterback position and see how important it is, because man, it's a lot of games. 13 straight games. Um, and in my opinion, you play 4 games, you're not tired yet. Like, I don't even know why they have a bye in week 5. I get it, they have to spread it out, but bye in week 5 is just too early. So I think that's going to be my only complaint about the schedule, is the bye in week 5. Man, that's too early in the season for a bye. So, so 11-6, 10-7. I went 12-5. All right, we're going to see if Atlanta Falcons can hold up to any of those. I'm gonna write it down. So T Terry says 11-6. I say 12-5. Let's see who's right. And I'm not. Some of these games that I pick W's could be L's, and some of these ones I pick L's could be W's. So, long as they come out in 12-5, I'll be good to go. And honestly, if you look at the last couple seasons, 11-6 and a 10-7 to win the division. That's how this division been the last kind of 4 seasons. 11-6 and 10-7. 12-5 definitely win it, but 11-6 and 10-7 definitely win this division. So that's how it's going to be. T. Terry says Matt Ryan is going to teach MKG how to use his body. Yeah, man. I like them getting together and talking, and you know, kind of give him some tricks to the trade. I mean, Matty Ice, 14 years with the Atlanta Falcons, man, just outstanding. So, you know, hopefully he can give him some nuggets and he can have a long career just like he did. That would be great. That will be great. So, guys, there you have it. The Atlanta Falcons schedule is out. Play Bucks first game, 5 primetime games, 1 international game, and 2 home preseason games. So I'm looking forward to all those games. I know you guys are looking. See what these boys can ready to do. Guess what? The season is officially here. We know who we got. We know who we got lined up against. Now let's get ready for week 1, September 7th, against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. Peace.